What you're about to hear might change the way you see the world. But before we begin, subscribe to Tony's Horror Stories so you're not alone when the darkness returns. They say some places aren't built, they grow, like tumors, like wounds, and when you step inside, you don't enter them, they enter you. It was supposed to be just another weekend trip, a way to blow off steam before everything changed. There were 4 of us, me, Jordan, Lex, and Dom. Friends since freshman year. The kind of friends you trust with your darkest thoughts, your worst ideas, and in this case, your GPS. We had planned the route a dozen times, printouts, saved pins, backups on offline maps. But when we passed the same burned-out billboard for the 3rd time, and Dom's phone chirped recalculating for the 5th, we knew we'd gone wrong. Lex laughed from the back seat, snapping photos of the trees blurring past. "We're gonna die out here," he grinned. "Bet this is how it starts. Found footage and dumb decisions." "Shut up," Jordan muttered, gripping the wheel tighter. Her playlist had long since run dry, and the gas light had been blinking for 20 miles. Dom leaned forward from the passenger seat. "Turn here," he said, pointing to a gravel road half hidden by overgrown branches. "I'm not. Trust me. I saw a house on the satellite view earlier. Might be abandoned, might be shelter. Better than nothing." We turned. The trees thickened. The sky dimmed. Even though it wasn't sunset, shadows seemed to settle over us like a warning. Then we saw it. The house, nestled at the end of a clearing, surrounded by trees that leaned inward like gossiping strangers. 2 stories tall, built from dark, weathered wood. Its shutters hung crooked, and the porch sagged in the center like a tired mouth. But the lawn, oddly, was trimmed. The dirt path from the road to the front steps showed no signs of weeds, no mailbox, no lights, no welcome. And yet it felt expectant. Jordan cut the engine. The silence that followed was thick, like wool in our ears. Even the cicadas had stopped. No one said it aloud, but we all felt it. The pull, like the house was a magnet and we were loose nails. Lex broke the silence. $5 says it's unlocked." It was. The door creaked open with a sigh. Inside, the air was still, not stale, more like waiting. We stepped in one by one, calling out, joking nervously, "Hello, spirits of the damned? Mr. Boogeyman, you decent?" But no one answered. Nothing moved. And yet, in the living room, there were 4 sleeping bags, perfectly arranged, pillows fluffed, dustless, laid out like a ritual. Above each one, etched into the wood of the floor in long, deliberate grooves, our names. We stood there in silence, the 4 of us in a half circle, staring at the names carved into the floor. "Okay, seriously, who did this?" Lex asked. His usual joking tone was gone. No one answered. Dom walked around the room, checked the windows, then pulled open a closet door. Empty. He closed it slowly. "Maybe someone knew we were coming," Jordan said. "Maybe this is some messed up Airbnb prank." But none of us had told anyone where we were going, not even the real destination, let alone the fact that we got lost. "I don't like this," I said. "You don't have to like it," Lex replied. "We're out of gas, no service. What's the alternative?" We argued about leaving, about sleeping in the car, about going back up the road and trying to flag someone down. But the road was miles behind us, and night was already creeping in through the windows like smoke. Eventually, we agreed. One night, in shifts, one person up at a time, just to be safe. But of course, that didn't happen. By 11:30, everyone had dozed off except me. I sat on the floor against the wall, flashlight in my lap, phone in hand. I kept staring at the video I took earlier when we first found the sleeping bags, replaying it, watching it frame by frame. In one moment, something moved behind us, just a flicker, a shape that leaned in from the hallway, then snapped back like it realized it was seen. I froze the frame, enhanced the contrast, a face, or what looked like a face, smooth, too smooth, no features, just the imprint of something pretending to be one of us. I didn't sleep. At 2:17 a.m., every light in the house flickered once. All the windows slammed shut at the same time, and from upstairs came the sound of someone walking, heavy, measured, pacing above us. But we hadn't been upstairs since we arrived. The sound stopped. Then we heard whispering, not from upstairs now, from inside the room, from inside the walls. Lex woke up screaming. Jordan grabbed the flashlight, swinging it wildly. Dom just sat up, blinking slowly like he was waking from a deep dream. There were scratches on the inside of the windows now. Words. Stay. We didn't sleep the rest of the night. By morning, everything felt wrong. The sunlight coming through the windows looked artificial, pale, cold, like someone had copied the idea of daylight without understanding it. Dom refused to eat. He just sat near the front door, staring at the knob like it might disappear again. Lex paced. Jordan recorded everything on her phone, narrating nervously. Part habit, part comfort. We tried calling for help again. Still no signal. Even our location pins wouldn't drop. Maps just showed us as floating dots on blank terrain. Let's go, I said. We gathered our things, opened the front door. There was no car, no road, just forest. Endless trees, no tire marks, no gravel, no sky beyond the canopy. Jordan dropped her phone. We screamed, yelled, ran around the perimeter of the house. Nothing but green and brown and silence, like the forest had grown overnight, erasing the world we knew. Back inside, Dom pointed at the pantry. The door was open, but we hadn't opened it. Behind the shelves, a staircase, wooden, narrow, leading down. A cold draft curled up from below, and with it came the scent of earth and rot. We shouldn't, Lex said. I think we already have, Jordan whispered. We descended. The basement was bigger than the house above. Vaulted ceilings, stone walls slick with moisture. It looked like a catacomb or a tunnel network. The first thing we saw was the mirror. It stood upright at the end of the corridor. Its frame was black iron covered in rust. The glass shimmered faintly like something breathed behind it. In the reflection, us, but not quite. Jordan's reflection moved slower than her. Lex's had a split smile. Dom's didn't blink. And mine wasn't looking at me. It was looking past me. I turned. Nothing there. Then we noticed the sounds. Scratching, breathing, humming, faint, low, like a child singing in another room. We followed the sound. It led to a smaller door at the side of the corridor. Inside, walls plastered with photos, hundreds, United States, sleep, awake, in the car, at home, at school, from childhood to now, photos we'd never taken, photos no one else should have, on a desk, an open book, names written by hand, Jordan Grace, Alexander Vega, Dominic Elson, and mine. The page after ours was blank. Jordan reached out to touch it. The page turned on its own. More names, dozens, crossed out. Then the door slammed shut behind us, and someone laughed from inside the walls. The door slammed. The sound echoed like a gunshot. Jordan screamed and spun around. I grabbed the knob, twisted it, locked. no way out. Behind us, the humming grew louder, low, vibrational, like bones singing against wood. Dom backed into the desk. There was no one here, he said, voice cracking. This house was empty. Lex pointed at the book. Not anymore. The pages flipped on their own, faster now. Hundreds of names, none of them familiar. Then suddenly, the last page, blank until it wasn't. One word scrawled in dark ink, you. We turned back to the mirror. It was whole again. The cracks gone, but the reflections were wrong. Jordan's mirror self had no mouth. Lex's eyes were too wide. Mine didn't blink. Dom wasn't there at all. Then it changed. The figures in the mirror moved independently. Lex gasped. His reflection smiled, stepped forward. The glass warped outward just slightly, like something behind it was pressing through. Dom turned and bolted into the hallway. The rest of us followed, the basement echoing with the sound of our footfalls and that impossible humming. We didn't know where we were going. The corridor bent, split, rejoined itself. The angles made no sense. At one point, we passed a staircase, the same staircase, 3 times. Then we found Dom. He was standing in a room full of mirrors, dozens. No walls, just glass. The space went on forever, but each reflection showed something different, different versions of us. One where Jordan's skin was gray, one where Lex had blood on his shirt, one where I was smiling far too widely, and in each reflection, Dom was gone, except one. In one pane, Dom stood perfectly still, hands at his sides. Behind him, a tall black figure with no face. The reflection looked right at us and waved. Then it was gone. The mirrors shattered all at once. Darkness. Only the humming remained. We ran again. No one spoke. No one cried. We just ran. Through the corridors that made no sense. Through the rooms that changed each time we passed them. Sometimes a door we remembered would be gone. Sometimes it would lead to a place we swore was on the other side of the house. The humming never stopped. It rose and fell like breath. Eventually, we stumbled into the kitchen, but it wasn't the same. The furniture was older, the counters rusted, every drawer open. Jordan leaned against the counter, breathing heavily. Dom, I turned to Lex. He's gone. No, Lex said. He's still here, somewhere. We heard footsteps. Software measured. And then we heard Dom's voice. But it wasn't coming from the hallway. It came from inside the walls. Trade, he whispered. Trade, trade, trade. The mirror on the fridge, one we hadn't noticed before, rippled. Then Dom's face appeared, pale, eyes wide. Behind him, that same tall, faceless figure. Jordan reached toward the mirror. It shattered. We turned. In the hallway, a door opened. Inside, darkness, but not empty. Something moved. Choose, said a voice. Not Dom, not any of us. It echoed inside our heads. The door swung wider. The shadows inside shifted. Lex stepped forward. No, I grabbed his arm. You don't even know what. It's me or all of us, he said, and I think I've been here before. He smiled, but it wasn't real. It was the smile from the mirror. Then he walked into the room. The door closed behind him. The humming stopped, and the front door appeared again. We didn't talk on the drive. We didn't even turn on the radio. The trees watched us go. The road was back. The car started. Gas, full. We made it home. But something was wrong. Dom was back, sitting on the porch of his house, staring ahead, pale. He looked up at us. Where's Lex? None of us answered. He blinked, smiled. He traded. You shouldn't have let him. Jordan moved away 6 weeks later, changed her number, deleted every photo from that trip. Dom doesn't sleep, And I got a package today, no return address. Inside was a photo. 4 kids standing on the steps of that house. Only they weren't us. They looked like us, but they weren't. Slight differences, the hair, the posture, and behind them, in the window, stood Lex, smiling, waiting, still there. You made it to the end. That says something. If this story made you glance over your shoulder, leave a like, subscribe to Tony's Horror Stories, and keep a little light nearby while you still can.